Hippie Fari, Reggae Radio and Podcast is brought to you by The Island Rhythm, the dopest reggae-inspired and Rasta-inspired designs, clothing, and everything else you could possibly imagine. Check out theislandrhythm.com. Check out Island Rhythm on Facebook and on Instagram. Once again, The Island Rhythm is where it's at. Much love. Peace be the journey. May that be the mantra that guides you to stillness in the chaos of this world. And that is a quote from Shane Scott. This quote addresses one of the main reasons I created Hippie Fari, the beautiful, life-changing message of reggae music. It was created for social change, and its message is as strong today as it was in the 60s when the first reggae records were released in Jamaica. So welcome to another episode of Hippie Fari, Reggae Radio and Podcast, recorded live in the Omen Honey Reggae Radio and Media Studios in the beautiful Ocala National Forest in Florida. And take a second to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Hippie Fari. Hit subscribe button. You help support an underground reggae podcast. I am your host, Scotty the High-Strung Hippie, and Hippie Fari is a podcast where we discuss all things reggae. So if reggae music is your thing, you're in the right place. Now tonight, we have our special guest back in the studio. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We wanted to partner with a band that defines this podcast and this project perfectly. And from their lyrics to their music, their demeanor on a personal level, and the message they stand for is the epitome of everything we stand for here at Hippie Fari. So this is a monthly, it's aptly named Cultivated MonDaze, dropping an episode the first Monday of every month featuring Cultivated Mind. We'll be discussing their upcoming and past events, new music releases, new music, pretty much everything to do with Cultivated Mind, and just talking about reggae in general. So, how's it going, Tony? What's up, man?
Yo. Big up, Scotty and Kira. Thanks again for having me on, and happy Monday, folks listening in. Big up.
Happy Monday, bro. We've been doing this shit for 5 months. Isn't that crazy, bro? Almost half a year. I mean, you know, some people are like, oh, it's a month, you know, it should go on forever, but, you know, some people aren't consistent. I'm like, I'm pretty stoked, man.
I may be doughy, but I'm not flaky. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's those pull string jokes of yours again, bro.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, man. That's fantastic, bro. Well, I know Cultivated Mind's been up to a lot of stuff, man. I know you got some new tracks out, some new tracks coming out. But like I said, we've been building this monthly series for 5 episodes now. These episodes get some of the most listens that any of my podcasts do. So apparently, either you got a lot of fans out there, or I got a lot of fans out there. But I'm led to believe it's you, because they're listening to your episodes more. So thank you for making my podcast awesome. That's all I got to say, brother.
Thank you for having me on your awesome podcast. That's just iron sharpening iron, brother. That's all that is.
I love that, man. I love the way you think, bro. So it's like I said, it's been 5 episodes, man. How is doing these regular conversations, has it kind of shaped the way you, like, maybe you think about community connection? You know, the fact that we've actually, you know, formed a relationship. We're doing a monthly. You know, where it's something that we're consistent with, and, you know, people are listening. You know, do you feel like it's kind of like, you know, building like a bridge between scenes, and, you know, just showing people that, you know, community is real, and when you kind of stick together, positive things do happen?
Yes, I definitely think so. I think sometimes, too, you got to give faces and voices and personalities to the music, and the more people can see other people, you know, when you see someone in a music video, you're like, I don't know, that dude's weird. And you may not connect with a person or whatever it is, they got the vibe of that song or track or whatever it is, but then you see him talking and you're like, that's a regular dude, regular lady, whatever. And I think being able to have like these interviews and discussions with different musicians and see other people talking and just being themselves is very helpful. And I kind of, I don't know, makes things a little bit more easy when you meet that person on the road or bump into him at a show, you know, down the ways. I think these interviews and podcasts are a great way to see, like, just how human and silly and regular most of us really are, that are musicians, even though on stage we have a stink face a lot, you know. So I think that helps to kind of create communication and make everybody a little more open to each other, you know.
That's awesome, man. And that's definitely like kind of a vibe shift, you know what I mean? Like, you know, we started out doing it, you know, now it's like kind of looking at things a different way, you know. I love telling the story. You know, I approached you and didn't know how it was going to turn out. Did the first podcast, killed it. Now we're doing a monthly, you know, half a year later, we're still doing it. It's just, to me, it's you know, it's an absolutely amazing thing, man, you know, to be able to partner with a band like Cultivated Mind. And, you know, like I said, you guys are perfect for it because you've always got new content. If it was a band that wasn't doing anything, wasn't playing out, wasn't putting out tracks, wasn't constantly doing, so it'd be kind of boring, you know? So what are you up to? Well, nothing really. But that's not the case with Cultivated Mind, man. So why don't you kind of, and it's funny, I always bug the shit out of you for music. And I know you've got some really cool stuff out there. I know you just put out a track with Space Camp. Why don't you tell us about that, man?
Yeah, I've worked with those guys a long time, man, and big shout to Space Camp, Duboski, Gibbs, DJ Dreadhead, DJ Red Eye, the whole family, man. I've always been really good about getting me up in the PA area and got me on One Earth, a bunch of festivals, man. Have been really instrumental on shouting me out, man. And, you know, while I bring them down to gigs down here, they've done a lot for me. And so, you know, the minute that they were like, you know, do you want to work on an album with us? First, I was like, I love their music, and they put out anthems. So I was like, I would love to work on some of your tracks. And if anything, man, I owe them big time for all they've ever done. So I was definitely jumping at the opportunity to work with them. But as far as blending hip hop and reggae, they do a fantastic job. I think the new albums lyrically, their verses are brilliant. Stop Relax is great if you love old school hip hop. If you like more modern love songs, they have that kind of stuff on there too.
Yep.
I was on a track called High and Low with them, and Wax is on that one as well. Shout out to Wax. And then as well did Champion and some keys for a couple other songs that they took samples of. Yes, that one was produced mostly at my crib, but everything else I had different mastering from other people. But that one, you know, definitely kind of has a King Street Records vibe to it. But a lot of the other stuff, man, I just sent in keys and stuff like that, and if they could use it, they could use it and put it on something. So there's sprinklings of organs and stuff in there from here, but those are the two main tracks that we worked on.
Yeah, well, I definitely Champion was. It's absolutely amazing. I was listening to it, you know, when it came out, and then with Kira.
Thanks, bro.
Absolutely fantastic stuff, man. You know, you can always tell when Cultivated Mind, especially when you are involved in anything, because you definitely leave your mark, man. You have, you know, from your guitar playing to pretty much anything you do, man. Definitely your vocals, man. It's 100% identifiable, man. It's such a beautiful thing, dude. So
thank you, Scotty. I appreciate
you also had some other tracks coming out, or tracks that you sent me, which is absolutely amazing, man. You're working on a salsa track?
Yeah, so I have 3 records coming out that I'm working on, which is why it's taken me a while. But I've been kind of like showing snips of the first one and didn't really show people any of the second 2. So I have a track for blue reggae that's kind of along the salsa vibes, but just done with real simple percussion, bass, guitar.
Yes.
And I think that's about it. But just and some electric piano. That's the only other thing. But I wanted to have an album that kind of, I don't know, that wasn't so much about like trying to make single compact songs or, hey, we want this one to be a hit or whatever, because there's disappointment if you if you used to make songs with the intention of everything being a hit, because they usually aren't. And so, you know what I'm saying? So you just eventually got to make some music you would listen to and that you like. So I think blue reggae is kind of going to be a lot of like what I like to experiment with and mess with. And that's one of the tracks from that one. So a little more on the salsa vibes. Rest in power, Eddie Palmieri. He just passed away recently, a salsa legend. And I don't know, man. I have a lot of heroes. They're not all from Jamaica. A lot of them are. But, you know, music is a cross-cultural thing and touches the human heart. So if it touches mine, I try and, you know, at least include it in some way. So salsa's a big one. Big up to the Gonzaleses for getting me into the salsa music and my Auntie Annie. But yeah, that's kind of some of the vibe of the album. The third album will be a little bit on the Latin side.
Yeah, it's absolutely beautiful, man. I mean, you straight up ask Kira. This is no idea. I absolutely love salsa music, man. Loved it for a long time. I used to blast it when I was a kid on AM radio because that was all you could hear it on, and I'd be blasting that salsa music. Then I saw that movie El Cantante about Hector Lavoe. Where Mark Anthony played Hector Lavoe, man, and it made me fall in love with salsa even more, man. I was completely blown away how salsa came to New York City and just blew the fuck up. And it was such incredible music, man. Absolutely phenomenal, dude.
Yeah, Hector Lavoe's a beast, man. Rest in power, Hector Lavoe.
Oh, yeah, 100%, dude. Definitely huge. What's that?
I said rest in power, Hector Lavoe, too. Salsa lost a lot of heroes, man.
Yes. Absolutely, man. Yeah, absolutely beautiful stuff, dude. He had an amazing life. It was kind of a sad story how he went out, but, you know, that's kind of what fame will do to you, man. So Definitely excited about that, dude. I had said out of the 3 albums you had coming out, Blue Reggae was one I was definitely most stoked about to be able to hear. So I know I ask you this on every podcast. I know you said there's 3. Can you kind of tell us where you're at in the process of like getting everything maybe done? Do you have a timeline yet where all this music's going to be available for the fans to check out? Yep.
So yeah, I'm really not trying to rush
you.
things, and I have done that on previous albums, and they didn't come out the way I wanted. So you know, on this one, when it gets done, it gets done. But I like to have some tracks out in the next couple weeks. Yeah, and like King Street Smuggler is pretty close. Table Salsa is pretty close. I got to work out an ending and fix the guitar part.
That's so sick.
But I'm just gonna drop them as I get them done, and then like kind of buy myself some more time to like finish the rest of each. But I'm trying to get things done this year. So and I'm already past my due date of August. So right now I'm on a time crunch. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully soon, and it's definitely like the priority right now is getting these finished.
Absolutely, man. Well, that's all right. Well, you actually just mentioned what I was going to mention, King Street Smuggler, that dude, bro, freaking fire. It's absolutely incredible, man. And you just said it wasn't finished, but what you sent me is absolutely just absolutely fucking incredible, man. It's phenomenal. Do you mind if I play it?
Thank you. Yes, that'd be great, and thank you to my big brother, my mentor, one of the best and greatest and realest legends to come out of our block, man. Mr. Gabe Diaz from United Souls does the feature on this one too. So,
yes,
I literally that's why I was late to today's podcast. Was I was leaving skanking guitars for them, man, and sitting in replacing Frenchie, Mr. Barry LaPlante, for a day while he's off doing some work, man. So you know, big up to those guys. I learned a lot by working with those guys, and it's nice to have him on some tracks, man. So big shout to Gabe Diaz for coming through, spreading wisdom and knowledge, and sharing some lyricism and some power to make this one sparkle a little bit.
Yes, 100%, man. Yeah, this is absolute fire, man. You guys check this out. This is King Street Smuggler. Amazing.
This scandal bad, why me have no herb to stop your fussing since me was a liquor you. Never all the ganja hustling up, boy like fi chat and never know which man I trust. Been farming now we area, we roll up with Johns a bussin' it. Waiting for a handout, man a forward I go take it. Cultivated run things from Queens to Jamaica, never chat on me brother. Treat police like we save you can't tell me with no deal, cause we not cooperating. King Street Smuggler can keep up with me pace. If a herb where you need brother, we have it in a spade. Bread drink what it me up, keep out before the red shake. I'm waiting for a bailout, man we struggling, but you never hear we wail out. Man we hustling, see that be the only way out. Trusting that better must come any day now. Man, I move us a America, plane, train, or ferry, but lose with hard terror, any means necessary. Cutter, bound for Susie, half an ounce, one a Jerry, 10 pound for Mr. Still won't last to January now.
Don't call it escape, this is deeper than the flight. It's the drum in the distance, a flicker in the light. Push from the heart, a breath from the earth, reminding I and I what the soul is really worth. Some call it the best, I call it a priest, guiding me mind. The silence speaks, the mountain within starts to peak. Yo, yo, smoke signals rising, lifting through the pine, carrying the vision that the elders left behind. Not just a cloud, it's a key to the shrine. Pass it to me people, nobody left behind.
Spreading meditation, them say pedaling poison. Who the boy system exploiting and destroying. Loads of the price and the tons of spoiling. Come to make $1 off your toiling. But if you want your bushes ital, you know if you get it, no science experiment. Just a good old arm spreading. If a cop come fist that way or you catch wind of the pain spreader. We saw 2 times to watch the corner go dead. No more waiting for a bailout. Man, we struggling, but you never hear we wail out. Man, we hustling, seem to be the only way out. Trusting that better must come any day now.
Dude, that is absolutely phenomenal, man. Wow. Yes, that is
Thank you, Scotty.
Cultivated Mind, man. King Street Smugglers. I say this every single time you send me a track. I'm like, it just gets better. That was fire, man. That's hardcore, bro. That's just like that's straight to the core, badass, man. Can you kind Can you kind of give us a little insight, man? What's the message in the kind of the thought process behind that track?
I'll be real with you. Normally, most of the songs I try and put out like a positive, I don't know, even if it's a sad song, some sort of victorious or triumphant moment, a turnaround that is positive. But I'll be like this one, I just can't, I'm going to get myself in a lot of trouble, but here we go. I don't really like all the new ganja tunes. I think when I was younger, ganja tunes were rebellious. You got arrested. You're running from the police. A lot of people are trying to pay for college, for school fees. Other people trying to take care of their kids. For whatever reason, man, like weed was the thing that was the second job you could do that would help make ends meet while you still worked your first job and took care of whatever. So,
right.
I think the newer ganja anthems are just like all about sunshine and beaches and stuff, but a lot of us took hits and were there for the era where you got reaching below the window to hide something in a book bag and all I had was weed, and when I turned around, got tapped on the glass, the police officer and there's a flashlight and a gun in my face because you're not allowed to reach below the window. So there's a lot of stuff that a lot of us went through. The triple knocking when you go to answer, the boot comes through and all that kind of stuff where it wasn't sunny beaches and we weren't smoking out in the open. And a lot of us paid our dues, man, in a different kind of way. And I think that as much as the sunny beach tunes about smoking weed with your friends are great, I miss the old gangster tunes. And and sometimes a lot of stuff we do is because we miss that kind of vibe in the music. So we want to bring it back a bit. And I miss I don't know, Burn the Ganja by Chesedek, and just there's a Ton Load by Capleton, and all these old classic, like 90s, not old, but not when I was a kid, 90s, 2000s tunes that were tough. Give Me the Weed by Jigsy King, and like they were just tough tunes, and I think, I don't know, I missed that. That's like the pirate, I don't know what you want to call it, because pirate's a bad word, but it's the swagger of the music, I feel like, has left a little bit, and those good old ganja kind of, like Ganja Smuggler and Eka Mouse vibe kind of tunes, I miss those, so... in a lot of ways, this is, harkening to that. And also, I don't cash in on my street credit from when I was younger. Yeah, exactly. And, I got in trouble when I was younger a lot for that stuff. And so I'm just like, I don't know, man, maybe cash in on some of my 20-year-old Tony's street cred in my 30s. And, but at the same time, man, I kind of miss the whole,
man, that's okay, though.
I'm kind of being facetious, but I'm saying, man, I miss that kind of the ballsier tunes that were part of reggae music. So, that's kind of what we're trying to do for that. And also there's parts like Gabe's part. It's not just about hustling. It's why this is also not just a money-making machine, but access to a different realm of consciousness and some moments of meditation and, kind of a different way of life and thinking than what's promoted that's typically unhealthy. So, I think there's a couple messages that all the old herb tune messages kind of wrapped into one, from herb man hustling, sugar minded vibes to even kind of like more spiritual kind of vibes from Gabe's section. So just a good old fashioned herb anthem is really what we were going for, man, and kind of bringing that back for a little bit.
That's awesome, man. I love that mentality. But what's crazy, man? That can be said about a lot now, don't you think? They say history repeats itself, music kind of repeats, everything goes in cycles, right? Well, it's I've been waiting for the militant, uprising spirit of, reggae to come back. And, like you said, you wanted a good old fashioned herb tune. Well, I would love, a good old fashioned, Augustus Pablo tune, you know what I mean? Or a good old fashioned Linval Thompson tune about, especially in, our reggae scene, where people kind of standing up and, talking about what it was, man, what it was about, what it still is about, had a podcast with, Billy from Mystic Revealers. And, I was like, you guys have any new music out? He's like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. He's like, because the music we wrote 30 years ago is still just as relevant today, as it was 30 years ago, because he's like, we thought things would change. He's like, well, they've almost gotten worse. But, it's like you would think that people would still be like Cultivated Mind does. That's why I love you guys so much, man. You still push the envelope, you know what I mean? And you talk about things that are real. Like you said, you like a good old-fashioned weed tune, and now it's just about the sunshine and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I feel like a lot of this, I wouldn't say it watered down, but just kind of, not as serious. My wife gets on me sometimes. She's like, "You're too militant," and maybe sometimes I am, but I think it takes all kinds. You know what I mean? And I appreciate that in music. I appreciate militants in music. I appreciate a good old fashioned weed tune, or a good old straight up fuck the system reggae tune. You know what I mean? I think it's definitely important to for that fire to stay lit. Because in the words of Mr. Tony Brand, reggae music is the last bastion of the People's Army, right? It's a weapon we have that still hasn't been taken from us, but, you see every day, man, things are slowly being taken from us, I mean, it would be amazing to think that music could be taken from you, but I mean, you never know, man, that's why it's one of those last things, it's you're saying it, you're getting it out there, you're preaching the message, nobody's touching it, it's you straight to the ears of the fans, you know what I mean? It's not like books that can be distorted or anything, it's just these are the words that are going out to people, and I feel like it's really important to get the words out that matter, especially now, man, because people are pissed off, but they're also losing hope, it's like angry, but really don't want to do anything or don't feel like they can do anything about it, and it's just, it's kind of a weird place to be, you know what I mean? So, right on, man. That's just definitely how I feel about that.
Yeah, we just wanted to have something that was kind of a harken back to some good old gangster tunes, man, and not a whole lot of frills, just meat and potatoes, a nice bass line, and some heavy lyrics, some rub-a-dub,
Absolutely. 100%, man. So, yeah, it's an absolutely beautiful thing, man. We're definitely looking forward to everything that's coming out. So, I know you got the 3 albums out. Why don't you tell us about some upcoming events you guys have, man? Some shows. What's going on with Cultivated Mind?
So we just got back from doing higher education. So big shout to Jason Moodley and all the crew out there. Aqua Cherry, Reggae Lou, all our family that jumped on the sets and mashed it up with us, man. Matt and Zach for the post party. That was fun. New England family has been really awesome to us. So we're going to keep coming back, man. And we appreciate them a lot. So that's been a blast. This coming Friday, we got a home team gig. So we're back at home and done driving around for a while. And it's TC, Drummy's birthday. So September 5th, we're going to be at Stuffed, which is like one of Hampton's
nice.
Kind of classic. That's our bar everybody came up in learning blues and stuff. So, Stuffed is a local hotspot where we're going to have a lot of the home team there. And it's Drummy's birthday, so we're bringing the full band. We're going to do a militia show. And then we're out in Hayes, out in the country, on Saturday at IDK Raw Bar. And got One Love Festival coming up October 3rd. That's Tradition Brewing. And maybe October 4th. I got to double check that. That's big. Rio, Lions Bridge, Lost Soul Society, my bad. And Eastern Standard Time. A lot of great bands playing that one. And then November 3rd, we'll be making the trip down to your area, Florida, man. We're going to be going to Mount Dora. To go do the Cannabis Festival, man. So with Zik Productions and Space Camp.
Yes, sir.
Mendo Dope, Nat Cheesy and the Crackers, the whole family going to be there for that one, too. So if you got family out in Florida, send them our way. That one's going to be a blast.
Absolutely, 100%, man. That's right down the street from us. We will definitely be there. Super stoked about that, man. Thank you so much, man, once again for taking the time out. Sometimes we have 2-hour episodes. Sometimes we have little short bangers, but it is what it is, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a monthly, bro. I just love having you on, man. So, real quick, man, if you could pick any track that I could close this episode out with, which one would it be? You know what I mean? So the listeners can kind of hold it in their hearts as they hear it.
Like a classic reggae song?
Yeah, well, no, a Cultivated Mind song.
Oh.
Because I could pick, 20, but one to close this episode out with, man. What's something that you want people to take home with them tonight, man?
A Reach Out. I think Reach Out's got a good message to it.
You got it, man. Well, here it is, and I'm going to close it out with that. So, Tony, thank you so much for coming on the show again, man. It was definitely always a blessing to have you on, man. Me and Kira love you so much, dude. You're definitely family, man. It's a beautiful thing. I love the fact that we have this partnership going on, man. So thank you so much once again for being on. Give TC a big hug and a kiss for us, bro.
I definitely will, man. And thank you and Kira for having us and for making time for us this week. I know it's been a crazy schedule, but I'm glad we still got to fit it in. And I appreciate what you're doing to get the new music out there and pushing the new works. So thank you, Scotty, for real. And I will be sure to slap old Mr. Bongo Benny for you and give TC some love.
That's a beautiful thing, man. All right, folks, so check out theislandrhythm.com. That's theislandrhythm.com. And there's strength and unity, so build your community. And follow me on Facebook. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on TikTok. Shoot me an email, hippieFariReggae@gmail.com. And check out my website, hippiefari.podbean.com. This is Scotty the High-Strung Hippie and Kira the Irie Empress, reminding you to speak your mind before somebody else does it for you. And do something nice for somebody today. Grab flowers for your partner. Smoke out a stranger. Slip the homeless man a buck. But whatever you do, do it from the heart. Because all good things start with the heart. Peace, love, and Rasta rhythms are all a part of that reggae revolution. One love, fam.